Hello everybody. Welcome to the special interview with Chris Nuño. He is the composer of Spellbearers. He's the Maestro. He's the musical intelligence of this wonderful game. How are you?
I'm better for you asking. How are you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. Oh, okay. Yeah, shoot. So my name is Jabari Lewis Smith, and I'm the marketing director for Women Independent Studios. And yeah, we have a special video for you, and we're gonna go straight into it. Talk about the music of Spellbearers. All right. So, Chris, let's start off with a little bit of your background. So, why did you want to become a musician, and did you always know that you wanted to become a video game music composer?
So yes, I just remember growing up playing different systems, Atari, Nintendo. I remember I had a Game Gear, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, all those
Jeez.
wonderful different systems. And I remember being on Windows 95 all night, just playing those games. So many different memories. I just remember when I was young, listening to the music and the sound effects and everything. And I would always be that person that would just never focus on just getting through completing the game. I just wanted to say, okay, well, let me go over here. Let me stand in the corner. Let me try to interact with every inch of the wall and see if I can find anything or if something could happen. And sometimes in certain games, I would find things and I would hear different sounds or jingles, and I would always wonder, well, man, how do they do all of this? And adding different sounds like explosions or going in a next room and the music transitions and changes, and that just always fascinated me to just really, one day hopefully get into doing music for games. And I mean, here we are today. So I just really am thankful that I was able to get into it. I remember starting piano at 5 years old with classical music,
Wow.
and later growing up and learning other genres and styles. And, I just realized as time was going on, I was just, increasing the different skills that I could bring to uh, these moments, where I'm able to do music for games. So it was a wonderful journey.
Okay, wow. Starting at 5 years old. From what I hear is that usually when children are put like they're always forced to like play an instrument at a young age, and they usually just like hate it, absolutely
Oh,
hate
you
it.
know what? Yes, I actually didn't like playing the piano, so I guess it was my discipline was probably really low. I didn't have it that much. I just wanted to come home and play the video games. But, I look back at those moments, and I'm very thankful that my mom kept me in it, and for keeping me in it, I was able to learn so much, and as well as expand, to other instruments. And I'm thankful for my mom for that. So I would say my mom is probably my biggest motivation and inspiration to continue to pursue this career.
Gotcha. All right. I'm just looking around your studio. Like I was working on this whole setup, but I wasn't really looking at your screen. And I'm just looking at all the pianos and stuff that's all
Oh
around your
yeah.
room. Jay, you really love piano now. Oh, I just screamed into the
Oh
mic.
yeah. I love collecting different instruments. There's lots of stuff in here. You can't see it all, but yeah, it's really cool just to set the vibe and just know that I can go to something and, use the sounds or, change or warp different sounds. So,
Gotcha. Alrighty. All right. So, moving on a little bit to your work experience. How did you find WIM Independent Studios, and how long have you been working with them?
so actually, Grover, he actually was introduced to me by Rodney, and they are related. I forget how. I think they're cousins.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
not sure.
cousins. Okay, Rodney. All right,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah, so actually, his cousin Rodney, we went to high school together, St. Bernard High School, and we were good friends then. And I just remember a few years later, he had brought up Grover, and he said, "Oh yeah, my cousin is into games, and he's has his own thing going." I mentioned you, you do music. He's looking for people that do music. And then we just kind of linked ever since then. And I mean, here I am. I'm still there.
Yeah.
I love this company, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful how the world is so small. Wow, I didn't know they were related, and now it's like, wow, now I'm here. We're working on a game, together, which is cool.
Yeah, I think you've been here like basically since almost day one since the studio actually opened. Grover, I think he started it in 2012, and
Mm.
yeah, so Celetrary was started in 2011, I believe, and then like the next year, that's when everything started getting bigger and bigger and adding more people. And I think you came in in 2012 to work on the music and stuff. There was maybe Luke Simpson, who's a part of that too, creating the Celetrary music.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're
Yes.
added into it like shortly afterwards. And then yeah, you've been here the whole time. You haven't ghosted or anything. You're a trooper.
Yes. When I have my hair out, I am the Froji, not the OG, the
The
Froji.
Bro G. All right. Shoot. Yeah, I'm trying to think about like when did we actually meet in person? I know I I think 2012 is when I met you as well, like in person, and I don't know what we talked about or anything like that, but yeah, I'm like, this is a cool dude, and he
Oh
has a
yeah,
cool
yeah.
fro.
Yeah, I think I remember you were actually doing some music for Celatria too. I remember you did some guitar recordings. And I remember, I think, yeah, Grover had mentioned that you had did some track. I think it was the main theme and a few others. And he had asked for
Yeah,
me to like work with you on that. I think that's how it kind of started too, like around there.
yeah, I remember. I was making concept music. I just started playing guitar around that time, and I was like, "Hey, girl, are you gonna try this music? I made some music for it. You wanna try it out and you see if you like it?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, this is great." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And then I was like, he was like, "I'm going to send it over to Chris to make it to arrange it to something better." And then he sent it to you, and I guess he said that we're supposed to work together on it, but really all I wanted was, hey, yeah, I created this concept song. All right, send it to somebody who could actually play music and let them,
Yeah.
you know, do their thing. And then I remember going to your place, and I think, yeah, I had my guitar and stuff like that, and I was like,
Oh
you
yeah.
did all this timing stuff, and it's just crazy. It was bad. It was like, I can't keep timing. I'm like, Chris, what I really want is for you just to take this and Chris Nuño it, put your magic on it, and and then I think you're eventually like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I can totally do that, and then you created like the main theme for Celetrary, and it just sounded beautiful. I'm like, this is it, yes. Yes. Sorry, I didn't. I got
Yeah,
excited.
I think I was a little nervous too. I was a little nervous because I think I remember I think I had mentioned that I don't want to ruin anyone's creation. I always get nervous whenever I have to maybe, help make something better or add to something or collaborate, because that was your baby first. So, I wanted to just make it sound better. And, I mean, I think everything came out really good.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, it was
Cemetery
actually.
has some great music.
Yeah. Shoot. Yeah, it was my baby, but I didn't want my baby. I wanted to give it away. I was like, this is cool. Here. But yeah, okay. And then I think we started working on Spellbearers, what, 2018, 2019, and I think you're always first choice and who we go to for music for all our games. So you know,
Oh,
yeah,
wow. That makes me feel really good.
yeah. So,
I'm always trying to give a good product, when I'm working on stuff. And I love keeping the connections, so I want to make sure that whatever I'm working on, I'm giving all my heart into it. So
yeah. So, I just wanted to know, what are some of the other types of work, or like career-wise or project-wise, have you that you worked on?
So I can name a few things that might strike people's attention. When I was in video game college, I went to Pinnacle College, which was a college in Alhambra. They do have a location in Sacramento. Sadly, the location I went to closed
Ooh.
because the marketing, well, I believe wasn't that well. They could have used you then. But right when I finished, or when I was getting ready to graduate, I was receiving an internship with a guy by the name of Steve Tashar, which I'm still very good friends with. And he's done lots of sound design. He was nominated for a Grammy, and he did lots of films, video games, TV shows. And I started working on Avatar: Legend of Korra at that time with him. And I came in right on the last episode of season 1, where it just looks like Pearl Harbor. There's just planes blowing up everywhere, and I came in as an intern as a sound designer. So I'm like, I mean, a sound editor. So I'm like, oh boy, this is gonna be a lot of work. And he would always be like, I'm gonna text you, man. So, it'd be cool. I'd be there like 4 in the morning, all late, and he'd be in his studio in his garage. I'd be in his home, on another system. And basically we would use software to basically send each other stuff in the same session while we're editing, and he'd have a chat there, be like, clean that up. I'm gonna text you. I'd be making all these mistakes.
Oh my
It'd be
god.
so funny, and then the episode would be due, in a few days. And this was my first experience, doing something like this. So I'm gonna have this Nickelodeon show, and then it's due in a few days. Here you go, do it. So that was probably one of the best moments in my life. Not for the credit, but because I got to learn a lot in real time, and I was pressured. And I feel like I do good, or most people do good under pressure, because it's like, okay, we don't have a lot of time. It has to get done. It has to be really good. And I remember one of my professors always saying, it's never done. And that's something that's always stuck with me. You always have to release stuff. You got to complete stuff and finish stuff. There's always going to be flaws, but it's never done. So you want to just do your best not to criticize yourself and stay on something too long. So I'd say Avatar: Legend of Korra is something that really stuck with me well. Another project that I can think of were some AR, augmented reality, mobile apps, where I got to actually work with John Carpenter, who's the creator of Michael
Oh,
Myers. And he came out with his own comic book line, which he's had for years. So I got to do some augmented reality work, some sound design work, which they showed off at Comic-Con. And I know one of the comics, it was, I wouldn't say like a zombie, but it was an infected going on an infection. So I got to use a program for the first time called Dehumanizer, which a lot of people use in the video game and film industry, where you can basically, it's like you're voice acting, and then you can manipulate it to make you sound like a creature, a monster, a goblin, or anything. So I had a lot of fun with that,
uh-huh.
morphing my voice into being human. And then as I'm getting infected, there's a scene where a wasp comes out of the character's mouth, and
Oh,
then he just stings your phone. And then I'm, transforming into a mutated creature. So it was really cool. Lots of explosions and fire and all kinds of stuff. So it was intense, and it was really cool to work on that. Those are two, things that I'm really proud of.
wow, yeah, oh my gosh. That sounds amazing, that AR stuff. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, the dehumanizer, what is that, like a special program or something like that that does that? And you
Yeah,
just,
so it's actually I think it's by a company called Krotos. And basically, I mean, for voice actors, you can make your own creatures. You can design with filters and choruses, flangers, EQs, all kinds of different effects to make it sound like a creature. All those creatures, whether it's Lord of the Rings, Jurassic Park, Harry Potter, anything, crazy like that, make your own creatures. So hopefully I look forward to maybe one day we can use that for, a game with Wim Indie. That'd be really cool.
yeah, definitely, shoot. Yeah, just more and more projects that are popping up, and people are pitching more and more. So, you know, we're having like various there is works that are still on the hush hush, but plenty of
Mm.
work for you.
Okay, I'm excited. I'm always here for you guys. I love what you guys put out.
Shit. You, us, we.
We, yes,
Yes,
we,
we are a
yes,
team.
yes,
Yeah, Woman Indie wouldn't be as strong as it is without you on the team. So we
I
really
appreciate it.
appreciate you being here and sticking with us. Small indie game company, slowly but surely growing and growing. So thank you.
Yes, we've been through a lot. We've been through a lot together, and it's good to see all that hard work pay off.
Exactly. Alrighty. So with that, yeah, and this is a question that I specifically want to ask. Like, what type of games do you usually play, and like, what do you like? Like, what inspires you? Like, what games did you grow up with?
So, I know I mentioned a few of the different systems and consoles
Yeah.
before. That's probably changed throughout the years. I know when I was really young, well, actually, I think my whole life I've always loved fighting games. That's one style of games that I really loved. I love shooters. I really fell in love with an RPG called Legend of Legaia. I'm not sure if you've heard of that.
Yes,
Um,
I remember that on
yeah,
PlayStation
it
2, I
wasn't as
believe.
popular as Final Fantasy VII, but I
Yeah.
think they came out around the same time, and I think that was one of the first 3D polygonal games that was an RPG. But it was just a little bit different. I remember playing that all the time. And that was when I really got a understanding of RPGs, with the combo system. I really loved the combo system and all the things they had. Um, I loved wrestling games. I mean, we grew up with the Attitude Era, you know, so I think
Yeah.
that was just a cool time. I just remember playing, lots of wrestling games with all my friends. So that was a lot of fun. Um, yeah, I probably played a lot of PS2 and Nintendo 64. Those are probably two consoles I played a lot. But right now, I mean, I'm open to all kinds of games.
Mhm.
I guess being in and doing sound with games, I get to really experience different things, not just enjoying the game, but I like to really see what other people do, in terms of other composers or sound designers or voice actors. How are they, making this game, how are they producing this wonderful game and capturing and interacting with the players. So I like to really analyze and study the games that way as well. And kind of I notice a lot of flaws and little glitches or there's a pop in that music or that didn't loop right. And so I always take note of those things to make sure that if I'm in that situation, that I can make sure I don't, you know, um, let that happen. But as I mentioned before, it's never done.
Mhm.
So there's deadlines and, things will happen. And that's why we have updates. Let's add an updated version. You need to update your game before you play it to fix that.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. I remember I think a big thing that I remember you liking is like Gears of War. Like, aren't you like a
Oh
huge
man.
Gears of War fan?
I remember playing Gears of War 1, and every time I'd play that game, I would get banned. As soon as I would log into like a online, I would just get kicked from the game. Like I couldn't even enjoy the game. And I didn't glitch. I didn't do any of those. I don't even remember all the terms, but I didn't, do the wall jumps or any of those little glitches. I just played the game how it was. I was just really good. I have really good awareness and I was pretty good with Gears 2. I got kicked a lot in that game, but not every single time. Gears 3, I played that all the time. Yeah, I have all the gears. I mean, I have some statues over there of Marcus Phoenix and his son. So yeah, I was on Gears for so long. And I mean, I have the newest one. I'm just now I'm, more into like working on the games, so I find myself having less time to actually play them.
Gotcha. Yeah, shoot. Gears of War. You were just so good at it that people just or kicking you instantly. Just like, no, we're not playing with this dude. He
Yeah.
cheats or something. But you're like, I'm playing the game. I'm just playing better than you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I would hear all kinds of bad words from all these little
Oh,
kids and stuff. It would be so bad.
oh
I
no.
would just be laughing until I get kicked, and then it's like, oh, I'll try to join another one. But some days I just got kicked the whole day, so I couldn't enjoy it at all.
Oh my gosh. Shoot. All right. We probably already answered this a little bit. I think maybe you answered this already, but do you have like a favorite game that you like to play, or favorite game
Gears of
musically?
War is up there.
Yeah.
I would say, as far as shooter, I love Gears of War. RPG, I'll definitely say Legend of Legaia and the
Mhm.
sequel, Legaia Dual Saga. Um, let's see. Wrestling games, I mean, I loved No Mercy and
Oh,
WrestleMania on Nintendo 64.
got you.
Um, let's think. Music games, I mean, I love playing Rock Band. I think I fell in love with the drum set a lot. That was just a workout to me. I really love that game. Rock Band was a lot of fun. Zombie game, I love Dying Light. That game is so cool to me.
I heard that
I
was really
spent
good.
lots of time playing that. Yeah, and I know they had released a lot of other DLC, but I didn't have a chance to play it, so I might have to hop on and check that out because they're always adding more things to that game, which I think is really cool. So those are just a few games that I really fell in love with. And Smash Brothers, forget about Smash
Oh
Brothers.
yeah.
Playing with other people, I think that's a good party game to
Hmm.
play with people.
Gotcha. I'm surprised you didn't name like Legend of Zelda or anything like that. Like I always feel like for musicians, Legend of Zelda is the.
I was gonna say Nintendo 64 Ocarina of Time. That's probably one of my favorite Zelda games. I think a lot of people will say that
Yes.
too. I also like Super Mario 2 Yoshi's Island. I
Oh
love playing that game with well, I think I still have it. That was with the baby Luigi and baby Mario, I think.
yeah.
And then they
Yeah.
would ride on Yoshi. Yeah, I used to love that game. I love the music too from that game. And Donkey Kong Country. Those two Super Nintendo games. There's so many games. Oh my gosh, it's just I can't remember them all. But, you know, yeah, I would be here all day just naming
This is
different games.
naming. All right. All right. So yeah, we already talked a lot. So let's talk a little bit more about Spellbearers itself. This is supposed to be an
Okay,
interview for
yeah.
Spellbearers, but I was just
All
having
right,
fun with
yeah.
everything else. So, like, everybody seems to have like their own different view on how they look at Spellbearers. So I was wondering, like, what is Spellbearers to you?
So that's a really good question. I feel that Spellbearers to me is the beginning of a new journey. And what I mean by that is this is going to be my first console credit. So I see this as finishing, a certain area of my career. And now I'm going on to the next stage. And I can relate this to my very first video game I ever made, which was a game on Newgrounds called Encore, and that was a space game. That was the very first time that someone gave me an opportunity. I just remember always going in the forums, collaboration section on Newgrounds. Oh, we need music, need music. I just apply to everything. Most of the time I wouldn't hear from anyone. Or one thing that my professor told me is a lot of people start games and they'll never finish them. So I would join this
Yep.
game, that one. They never finished it. And he would always say, don't work on an MMO because no one will finish it because it's just so big. Everyone always works on something massive like that. It's like they're not going to finish it. So I did, work on MMOs and they ended up, not finishing it all. But I can relate Spellbearers to my first game, Encore. That had my first game, and that was a Flash game. And the reason why I kind of relate that to this is because there's a certain way that Spellbearers makes me feel that still gives me a similar feeling to the way that that game Encore made me feel, where it's like this is my first game, but for this particular game, Spellbearers, this is my first console game. So I'm really trying to give it my all. I'm working with lots of other, collaborating with other artists and musicians to really make this special. And I just love, the music that I'm being blessed with to put out. And I love the style of this game. It has some darkness to it, and I feel darkness when it comes to music is something that kind of comes easy to me where I can focus on because it's a wonderful and really massive style. You can go so many directions. So that's kind of where my mind is with Spellbearers. It's really important to me being a my first console credit. So I'm excited, and I promise everyone that checks out the soundtrack and the game, you won't be disappointed. It's going to be wonderful, wonderful music to back you up while you play the game and help you enjoy it.
Gotcha. All right, thank you for that. So, another question I want to ask is, what prompted the creation of some of the music in the game for you?
So, when I first looked at the game, I mean, I did get some references from the team. And I mean, some of the first things that came to my mind, before I even knew, what Garen or anyone else kind of what motivated them, I was thinking of Zelda, old school Zelda. I was also thinking of a little bit of Castlevania. Um, so, a mix of orchestral, classical, some medieval, and then I thought of some metal as well in there. Those are a few things, Gregorian chanting, stuff like that. So I kind of combined all of those different styles and created a sound, that really I feel really works for Spellbearers.
Gotcha. Okay, so yeah, you mentioned that you're not the only person that actually worked on the music track for it. Can you tell us a little bit about the other individuals that contributed to the making of this music?
Yes. So I would say when I first started working on this game, probably the first person that I contacted was my buddy Will Salazar, who's the guitarist on this game. And we went to high school together, St. Bernard High School. And we started off doing rock bands. Actually, in this room, it didn't look like this. There were sofas there, a drum set there, guitar there. There was more space. Now there's keyboards everywhere. But I always kept in touch with him. He was such an amazing musician. And I asked if he'd like to work on this project with me. And he said, yeah, sure. So this is actually going to be his first video game credit. So I always believe in if you make it, you help your crew, your team, your
Mhm.
friends, so we can make it together. So
Exactly. Yeah.
Will's a special person to me in this game, and I'm excited to have him on board. One of the next people that I got to reach out to was actually one of my former students, and that's Chris Robertson. And I actually taught him in elementary school, a little bit in high school when I would come there, with like the drum line or as a guest teacher or something like that, substitute or
Wow.
something. But I worked with him and I watched him grow in elementary school. And the school that I teach at is Transfiguration Catholic Elementary School, which is located in Leimert Park, Los Angeles. And I just watched him grow. I mean, I helped him, really grow in different areas. He was in the marching drum line, the African drum line. Later in high school, I kind of helped him vocally. Going back to elementary school, he got to learn how to play the piano, many other melodic percussion, rhythmic percussion, like the drum set, playing the vibraphones. So it was really cool to, really have one of my former students come in, and he's getting his first credit too.
Nice.
I just remember being a child, wondering, man, I wish I had someone that could teach me how to make music for games, or even like how do you make an explosion? Do you go out and explode something or like where do you get these sounds, So being in the situation of being a teacher, I realized, you know what, this is cool. I get to help the kids learn more than just be a music teacher. I can show them things. And I actually had another student, get her first credit in video games on a Newgrounds game, a Flash game, and she did some voice acting. So that was cool. So I'm thankful that Chris was able to have time to work on this. So he's in there. He's helping me do the Gregorian chant in Spellbearers. So as you're walking through the hall corridor before the bosses, you hear a mix of my voice as well as Chris's voice. I probably got a little inspiration, maybe thinking about Halo when I was going
Yes.
through that hallway. I remember going to a Game Sound Con and hearing Marty O'Donnell, who is a composer of Halo, and he kind of talked about his story of how he came up with that actual Gregorian chant. He said it was just him and his friends, and they just did it, and that was it. And he had mentioned that his house had got burned down, and he lost all the Halo music.
Oh
So
my god.
the Halo music that you hear in the game isn't the original. They had to remake it.
Oh wow.
I'm just sharing that little story there because I got to hear that. So that's some cool, that's a cool little story right there.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah, I got the hallway of Spellbearers was I feel a little inspired for me from that Halo Gregorian chant. So I kind of added that in there. Um, Going on to Julie Seachuck, who's our vocalist, one of our vocalists for the game, besides Chris. Um, she actually reached out to me on Facebook. She just messaged me and she asks, is there any projects that you're working on that you'd like to collaborate with me on? And I checked out, what she does, and I was like, wow, she has a beautiful voice. I think this voice would be perfect for Spellbearers. So then that's kind of where it started. And, I just said, oh, yeah, we're working on this. And I think the first project I gave her was level 1. And you can hear that, in the demo of the game, the build of the game right now. You can hear her there. So she loves it. She's so excited. She's messaging me right now, asking, how can I get some merch?
yeah.
She wants, she's so excited. She's like, when is this game coming out? Is it out yet? She thought it was already out, so
That was my fault.
she's really excited about the game. And, I think everyone's going to enjoy the vocals that she brings as well as Chris. I'm also providing some vocals as well. Um, One of our next people that we just added, or I just added, came in contact with after doing, we did an event together. Who's the flute player? She's a flutist. Her name is Hannah. I think her last name is Garanila, or I hope I'm saying that right. Forgive me, Hannah. Um, and yeah, I just heard her flute as I was just playing the keyboard at this event and getting ready to sing. We were tuning and testing everything, and I was like, whoa, have you ever worked on a video game? She was like, yo, bro, no. She was just like so excited. So actually, she was in the studio today. So this was the first time I got to have her come in, and we just recorded the credits theme, which you'll be hearing later. I'll be uploading that with the team later. And while she was in there, I said, you know what? I can't just have you record on one, track, one theme. That's not. We can't do that. So I said, you're ending the game. We're hearing your flute at the end of the game. Maybe we can add you at the beginning of the game too, so that way we have that flute at the beginning and the end, a nice ambiance of that instrument. So she just came in and she just improved it, and we recorded different takes, and everything was great. So I'm gonna have a hard time figuring out what to choose. So man, it's awesome to be able to work with all these musicians. And then another buddy who I also went to St. Bernard High School with, my old buddy, he goes by the name of Sub K. And you'll get to hear him in our bonus track that I'm
Oh,
working on, which is some behind the scene footage. It's a whole full theme song with lyrics and everything, a rock song with some
what?
rapping. I'm rapping in there as well. My buddy Sub K is rapping on there. So this is actually going to be my commercial rapping debut. So a lot of people haven't heard me rap. So you're gonna hear me rap on here. You're gonna hear me do some rock vocals as well. Hopefully I don't sound like Limp Bizkit or anybody. This is my first time doing this. I think it sounds good, but we'll see. I'm kind of going out of the box here And and that's why we mentioned earlier that this is a new journey for me. I want to challenge myself and I want to make it special. So um, I'm doing a totally new style vocally, and I hope that it comes out well. But Sub K is on board. He's a rapper from the West Coast, and you guys are going to get to hear him as well. And this is going to also lead up to possibly his album and some singles when he releases early 2021, which is around the time Spellbearers is planned to release. So this is actually some good promo for him as well. And I believe that is the whole music team right there.
Wow. Okay, I thought there was only like two other people, but there's there's a whole team. That's amazing,
Oh
though.
yeah.
Yeah, really excited to. I'm gonna go into the music and just like, oh, this person doing this person, and looked at all the profiles and stuff. But yeah, that's amazing. I'm really excited for that bonus track too. That
Oh
he is
yeah.
preparing. Yeah, shoot. But I think yeah, we've been at this for a bit, so I think we're gonna cut it there. Thank you so much for doing this special interview with me, and yeah,
But thank you for having me.
no problem. Yeah, shoot. I think people on Kickstarter are really gonna love this. I hope they do. They'll be able to find your music, um, probably at the bottom of whatever we post this. They're gonna find it everywhere. We're gonna blow this out like really loudly because the music really is amazing in this game. Super epic.
Thank
Shoot,
you.
but yeah, yeah. I'm just looking still at your studio with all the pianos and stuff. I'm like, he hasn't played anything yet. What's going
I know.
on?
I wish I had everything. I mean, I have my talk box right here. I should have did the interview with the talk box. That would be so funny. It'd be like, oh my gosh, well, like they probably wouldn't know what I was saying. Maybe.
Oh, I think that would be cool. It would be maybe after an hour they'll be tired of it, but but shoot, it was
Yeah.
really cool.
Maybe next time we'll have like a special talk box Spellbearers live stream or something.
Well, all right, yeah, let's end it there. Thank you everybody for watching this video. Thank you, Chris, for joining, and thank you to all the wonderful musical individuals that are a part of Spellbearers as well. Um, I'm going to be looking at your guys' profiles for a bit, and seeing all your guys' works, and I hope other people do so as well. And yeah, I'm gonna say bye, or any last words?
Um, I'm just gonna say I hope that everyone checks out this game. The whole team is working really hard. This game is so exciting to me, and I really can't wait for this game to be released. I look forward to the finished product. Again, I'm happy to be a part of this team. Go Team Wim Indie.
Woo! All right, bye, y'all.